This is a Ruger Mark IV pellet gun, and originally it would come with these black grips on it, real cheap, and they looked okay, but I didn't like the look of all black and I wanted some better grips. Well, real grips don't fit on this out of the box, but with a little bit of modification to make them fit. And I went with the full checkered, which greatly improves the feel and the look. I didn't take a whole lot to make this modification. This top left screw is in the same location. And I'm using Mark III grips. Really doesn't matter what grips you use, since the holes are all in different locations. Now to start out with, these holes would all be raised up to fit into the original grips. Well, the bottoms of these are all flat. So the first thing, I had to sand down this hole. And on the right side, the hole is shifted a little bit. Sanded it down, and it was close enough that could drill and tap the new hole. It probably would have been better if I would took a wood burner and melted the plastic down to fill in that hole and then sanded it. The grips also don't just fit on. You have to take some wood off of here for the safety. On the left side, and then some off of here for this molded in piece. On the right side, the top screw is the same. So after, well, you have to switch out longer screws. So I started with a much longer screw, got the hole where it's lined up, and then lined up with this molded in fake mag release, and then just kind of lined up the bottom where it looked center on the frame. Then that helped make sure I was removing wood in the right location. And this piece would just come off. It slid onto this part of the grip. So I didn't deal with this part at all at first. This was off and only focusing on this back. But once I had the right or the left side on, I flipped it over and started working on lining up the right side. Kind of went back and forth, made sure that it was pretty much centered on the frame and looked even with the other side. And I clamped it on, marked this hole, pulled the grip off, drilled through the mark. Now there's not a whole lot of plastic here, and there's metal behind it. If you wanted to, you could disassemble the whole thing, but I was able to do it without disassembling. So just drill until it touched the metal. I don't even need a bobbin ring tap to actually tap it, but since it's plastic, I just push the screw tight into the hole and then slowly turned, adding more pressure, and it cut the thread. So after the two top holes were done, the new hole be here and here. Originally they were both about centered in here, but that wouldn't work for these new grips, so I cut out the plastic that was in here, then 3D printed a plug. It's not a perfect fit, which worked out because there was some gaps here that I was able to put glue in and hold it a little bit better than if it was a perfect fit. I had to try and put glue on it and then shove the plug in. This let me position the plug first and then just add the glue once it was good. But once the plug was glued in, took the grip with just the top screws in, screwed it on, made sure the bottom is centered and everything looked good. I marked the new hole, pulled the grip off, and drilled all the way through. I didn't tap it all the way through because these screws don't stick through too far. They can't go very deep on the top anyway, so I figured just make them both the same length screws. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I chose to just glue this piece on the top, and had to do some filing to match, and then I just went at a little bit of an angle, so otherwise the wood would be above this piece. So I just kind of blended it down into there. Could have left it off, but I figured it looked a little bit better like this. Would have been nicer if there wouldn't have been any cutout here, and if it was just a solid grip. Not sure if they make those, but it would have looked a little nicer. And the safety still functions because the wood is cut out. Now, all this was already milled out when I got it. Just had to focus on the very back here. I'm happy with the way it turned out. Much better looking and better feeling air pistol.